In this video, we're going to cover how to do an interview with the host and a guest on camera at the same time. Now, you can see we both have a little microphone on. This is a lavalier microphone. We're running them into a Y splitter, and then from that, we're going into that KV connector that goes into the iPad, or the iPhone, or whatever you're recording into. So, I have with me today, my guest is Keith Gilmore. Keith, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been a copywriter for the last 7 years, and basically help to create the best messages that are the most compelling for my clients.
So a copywriting thing is not a legal thing, it's more about
No, it's
sales
not
and marketing?
the C with a little circle around it. Yeah, it's along the lines of all things marketing.
Great, well thank you. So one of the things we're checking right here is the volume of how he speaks and how I speak, and making sure we have some rhythm. And before we really get into the meat of what we're going to be talking about, we're just having some banter back and forth, so we're checking our audio levels, and that as he's talking or I'm talking, I'm not talking, and then I kind of drop off and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you're both speaking loud and clear, and that if you do have a VU meter, or that meter, you're not peeking into the red, you're staying with the top of that green and into the yellow if you're using, say, Filmic Pro. That's what we really like to do, is make sure you have a nice, strong signal. So even though we're very close together here, we're about, what would you say, maybe 18 inches or 2 feet apart.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm talking past him, he's talking past me. It's not like just a quiet conversation we'd have if we were actually this close. The other thing is, he and I are sitting relatively close, but on TV, it always looks like people are farther apart. So I have my legs crossed, and normally we wouldn't sit this close together. This is kind of uncomfortable, but on camera, it doesn't look so bad. So let's do one more test for the audio, and we'll make sure that both the volume of what I'm speaking and he is speaking is relatively the same. So Keith, could you tell us a little bit about copywriting? What is one thing that people really need to think about when they are having to look at good copy or write good copy?
Sure. Always think about who you're writing to. Don't forget who you're writing to. Oftentimes you end up writing to everybody, or you don't understand what that person that you're trying to connect with is thinking. You want to always enter into the conversation they're having in their mind already. So that's one of the best things that you can do that's going to always improve your copy.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to go off the screen here to my good man Todd here. Todd, how's the audio levels between the two of us? Is one of us speaking louder than the other?
No, you're all pretty much right about the same level, just a little bit into the yellow.
Okay, so we're just a little bit into yellow. That's perfect. So if I spoke louder than Keith here, what I would do is I just drop my microphone down a little bit. If you drop it down just a few inches, that's really going to cut off the volume from that person speaking. Now, sometimes if I'm interviewing someone who is wearing something I can't really pin a mic onto, like we have right here, what we use is a shotgun mic for either both people or one person, and just set it off the screen, and you point it directly at either the one person or split it between the two people. And the microphone we recommend, that shotgun microphone, does have two patterns, so you can actually open it up a little bit, and then you can get two people in there rather well. And then it all comes down to making sure both people are heard loud and clear, and just remind your guest that you're going to want to make sure that they speak past you louder than if the two of you were just speaking together. Is there anything else you think would be good to add to that?
Oh yes, you had mentioned something about the tension on the mic.
Yeah. So sometimes people will stand up and sit down, and then they get tension on the cable here. So as they move around, it's pulling on this, and it'll either pull down like that, or the other thing is it will just, every time they move, you'll hear because it's actually rubbing on their belt or something. The vibrations are going up to the microphone. So what I like to do is, I'll show this on Keith right here, is you loop the wire up and through that little clip and then down, and then make sure that they bunch a little bit of the cable so there's slack behind their shirt. You always want to hide that cable, otherwise it'll look tacky if you just see that cable going down the front. And if someone is wearing something that they can't clip onto and get a nice look like this, then by all means use a shotgun mic. What you don't want to do is put the mic on someone's collar. So if they're wearing a sweater, don't bunch up the sweater and pin it right there. That looks really bad. And don't put it on the collar, because as they're talking forward, say to the camera, it'll be kind of quiet, and then they talk over here, it gets really loud. That's why it's always important to put it right in the center. Right about here is perfect. So that's really all there is to having two people on camera in an interview situation with a host and the guest on camera at the same time.